What's going on, guys? So today I'm talking about the StatGear Ledge. Pretty cool little slip joint, kind of a modern slip joint. I have all three colors here. This one is the black with the red accents. All right, there's also one with black and brown accents, which is really cool. You don't see a whole lot of brown in knives today, kind of like that. And then one with no accents. Still the same cutouts, but it's solid black. All right, so the people out there don't want any color, just kind of like a traditional look. There's that one as well. So these two I have not used. All right, I've had these knives for probably, I want to say at least, I don't know, 9 months to a year, something like that. I got these when they first came out and kind of put it on the back burner. I did carry and use the red one when I first got it. When I get a knife and I get multiple colors or multiple variations, I usually just pick one and stick with that. There's no sense in, changing it out just because there's a different color handle. They're all going to work the same. So I do focus on one, and then sometimes I'll take notes. In this particular case, I had to take notes because I literally sat on it for months and months and didn't even use them. All right, so when I first got it, I used it, didn't use it for whatever it was, 5-6 months, whatever, rediscovered it, put it back in the drawer, rediscovered it, and lately just kind of use it a little bit more so I could do a video and talk about it a little bit here. So again, this is from StatGear. It's called the Ledge. All right, this is a modern slip joint, so you can see there's no locking mechanism. We just have that back spring. All right, the back spring is, heavy enough where I wouldn't consider it to be a light back spring, but it doesn't take all that much pressure to really close that. All right, and the whole purpose of it is just in case it gets bumps. The idea of a non-locking knife, all the pressure when you're cutting things is on the blade. It's on the cutting edge. All right, but accidents happen. So let's say you have your knife open and you turn, you hit a wall or something, it bumps a little bit. If this were too close on your finger, it would cut your finger, but not incredibly. It wouldn't be too bad. Like when your finger or hand is down more and you have a knife close on you, you have more of a chance of really getting bit hard. But because of this design, your finger almost stops it. You would certainly get cut, but it wouldn't bite very deep, even if you hit something really hard. All right, and actually I want to focus on that because of where this edge is. I think this is actually awesome. The cutting edge comes all the way down to the handle. All right, so by design, if I close this a little bit, you can see where that blade ends. That is right at the bottom of the handle. So when you're cutting something, if you want to get a lot of control, you see there's a sloped design here for the handle, but you can get your medium down here really, really tight and low, all right, for precision cutting. All right, usually you don't see that. A lot of times people put little, blade trails on there, or maybe something else by the ricasso, and your blade is up higher. But some people definitely prefer that. So that edge comes literally all the way down to above your finger. All right, which is very cool. While I'm zoomed in here, you can see the back. This is D2 for our blade. Our blade is a Wharncliffe style. All right, some people might consider it sheep's foot. There's always a fine line between those, but there is definitely a point on this, so I would call this a Wharncliffe. You can see, let me back up a little bit. You can see that there's a channel cut out, all right? It's on both sides, and that basically works as a nail nick, okay? Now again, there's not an incredibly strong back spring on this, so you don't have to really crank on it or anything. There's no half stop, all right, just so you know. But I mean, not only is it aesthetic because we have all these lines and striations that are on the handle, but you have the channel on both sides. It is completely ambidextrous, all right? Pocket clip is swappable to the other side. I found that I wasn't really using it as a nail nick so much, I was just grabbing it, but because the channel's there, it gives you a 90-degree edge to actually grab onto, so it creates grip. All right, now obviously the lower you grab a knife, the easier it is going to be as far as opening it, because the closer you are to the pivot, the more pressure there is. But just naturally using this knife, I was just grabbing it down here and it was totally fine. But that channel does give you grip on both sides. All right, so that's very nice. Now looking at the handle here, you can see it looks as if there's a red liner and a black, top G10 layer, but I believe it's just one solid piece of G10. So they basically have the black and the red and they bond it together. It's one thing, but then when you make the cutouts here on the black, the red, or the color that's underneath shows through. All right, so both sides. It's the same with the brown one. All right, and obviously the black, you can't tell because it's black underneath. All right, but that's what it is. You have a thin layer of that black on top. So pretty cool. I like it. It does actually add a lot of grip. This knife overall feels like it has some sharp corners in the grip sense, not so much uncomfortable. I did notice, in using this, that the pocket clip, you do get a little bit of a hot spot. Nothing Nothing that's going to cause a blister or anything like that. It's just a tiny bit of discomfort, but it's not that big of a deal. You're usually not using knives like this. It's very hard anyway. I just got that cutting some cardboard, but once you start cutting into some thicker layered cardboard like that, you do end up having more pressure, and that's when I was squeezing harder and filling that pocket clip a little bit. All right, it is a deep conceal loop style clip, and like I mentioned before, 2 screws there. It is swappable to the other side, making this a truly ambidextrous knife. All right, so because there's no studs or anything, right or left-handed, it doesn't make a difference. All right, the opening is the same regardless if you're opening as your righty, right, or if you're lefty, you swap the clip, it'll be the same thing. All right, so that's really nice for a lot of people out there. They sell these for 35 bucks. It's a pretty straightforward little design, just a little modern take on a slip joint. 2.6 inches on our blade length. All right, opens 5.8 inches and about 3.1 inches, just a hair shy of that when it's closed. But yeah, I mean, it's a very simple design, solid backspacer on this, some G10, and a little D2 blade. But it's a little workhorse, believe it or not. I mean, a lot of people focus so much on, the best lock that's out there and everything, and I can definitely put value on that. If you're using your folding knives very, very hard, you do want a very secure lock. But sometimes when people talk about, different folding knives failing, and they explain the situation when it failed, more times than not, I'm thinking you probably just need a good fixed blade. A folder may not be for that task. But obviously there's a convenience of having to fold the blade up and stick it in your pocket, as opposed to a lot of people not wanting to carry fixed blades or just having restrictions. Depends on where you live. And speaking of restrictions, that's why slip joints have become so popular lately, because more and more people all around the world are getting into knives, and unfortunately there are a lot of laws and restrictions for knives. Of course, I think that's dumb, and I think everyone who is very much into the knife scene would agree with that. I think at this point we should be able to have whatever knives we want, whenever we want, wherever we want. But it is what it is. We still have to abide by the laws. But yeah, I mean, you could still open this one-handed if you wanted to. I'd grip up towards the top here, push that handle away, all right, shimmy your grip, use your thumb to open it. Not the safest, but if you happen to be in a situation where you're holding something else and this is all you have, you can certainly do that. But I think they're really cool. Very cool little knife. Very simple design, but like I said, I kind of like, I like things that are new and different, and I haven't really seen anything like this before. And the pop of color is really nice as well. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Let me know if you guys have a StatGear Ledge, and if you do, what you think of it. But I think they're pretty cool for 35 bucks. Just something different. Especially if you're focusing on slip joints now, it's just another cool option, and options are good. So that's it. Hopefully you guys have a wonderful day, and I will see you tomorrow with a brand new video. Take care.